I'm going to introduce Randy now. He's a famous man at this point in Judson. Everybody's hearing about the lawsuits?
Yeah.
Randy's taking care of that for us.
Thanks, Greg. I've been all antsy because today is the day that the Safer at Home order expires, according to its own order. And so I've been looking at Colorado Department of Health. I've been following the governor's Twitter feed. I was just ran over and refreshed again on my computer and can't see any information that it's been extended yet. What happened? When?
Today.
I heard
An hour
July
ago?
1. I heard July 1. Nothing's changing until July 1.
Okay.
But I heard it.
Where did you read that from Paul?
I just heard it on the way
Well,
here because I was
I
calling
never-
people to try to get it.
Where did you hear it from? Because
You know what? It was from a friend. I was driving here trying to get an update because I couldn't find anything else
Okay.
out. So.
Well, I was listening to my station, 710knus.com, on the way down, and I didn't hear it. I've been on their website and on the governor's, so I assumed that it would happen, of course, and but it was just confusing because I was looking at my phone, and they're taking guidance from churches, suggestions on what churches can do to open in America.
Randy, I got it from KDVR.
No, I'm believing you. Well, I'm moving on now. I'm just saying, we're left hanging, right? All day, we're left hanging to see what happens next. How many of the small business in here are restaurants? So, not that many, but you guys are hit about as bad or worse than anybody, especially if you're a small restaurant. Because, these guidelines, 50% capacity, may work fine for a Walmart-sized chain or something like that. You can still generate some cash flow and do some takeout and all that. But if you're a small establishment like CNC Cafe in their Castle Rock location or Water's Edge Winery and Bistro in Arapahoe County, 50% might as well be 1%, right? I mean, you're just on a slower path to bankruptcy.
Yep.
And so that's why we really got fired up when we saw. I mean, is there anybody here that objected when the state got shut down the first couple of weeks? See, I did not. I did not mind an emergency quarantine, basically, while a typical lawyer asked a bad question. But nobody got excited during the first couple of weeks while we're trying to figure out, gosh, just how deadly is this virus and how is it transmitted and who are the people that are most at risk, and most importantly, how long will it take us to build up some personal protection for medical workers, the masks and all of the gloves and all the different things that we needed. And so I was okay with it for a couple of weeks, and even into a month, the first month when Polis decided to extend it the first time for another 30 days, I thought, well, okay, we're still getting information, maybe it's okay. Man, when we got to that second extension, it'll now be 90 days that this governor's been exercising emergency powers.
Yeah. Without the legislators intervening.
Exactly.
These were the powers that the Colorado State Legislature actually gave to a governor, regardless of their role, in the event of an emergency.
After 9/11, because we were all scared.
Well, it got even worse in 2012. But what they failed to do is put any kind of a firm deadline that says, sure, Governor, we have to have a strong executive in the event of an emergency. I'm fine with that. I don't care what party it is. But that has to be stopped within a very reasonable period. Yeah. And what the legislature should have crafted into this legislation was, after that first declaration of emergency, if you want to renew it, you've got to come to the legislature. And you've got to, and I would suggest, and I think, this is something we should all be pushing for the long term, that it should take a supermajority, or at least a 2/3 majority in the legislature to continue a governor's emergency executive powers. Because, we live in Colorado, we're not the worst state in how these powers have been used. We're killing a lot of small businesses. I've had calls from hundreds now of restaurants, of salon owners, of gyms, of pet stores, just all kinds of different businesses. The emergency is being created by this governor for small business. The emergency now is 40 million unemployed in the country. The emergency now is, what was the number I saw? I forget the number in Colorado, but it's hundreds of thousands of unemployed, the highest ever in the state of Colorado. That's not caused by the Chinese Communist Party Wuhan virus. That's caused by the Democrat-controlled government that we have right now. And so I was really excited when the idea started being talked about of trying to find a way to push back. I've been a lawyer for 22 years, and my practice has been kind of a ground level practice, criminal defense and people who are injured, divorce cases, all kinds of civil stuff. So I'm the kind of lawyer that if a problem shows up, I just suit up and figure out what we need to do to try and get it done. But I'll tell you what, trying to figure out how to help CNC Cafe and Jennifer from Water's Edge Winery and Lauren Bobert from Shooter's Grill has been like remaking the wheel, because this is all brand new stuff. While Governor Polis hasn't been the worst of the governors to exercise emergency powers, the emergency power that we gave him is among the worst that there is, because once he takes it, he and only he can decide when it's over.
Yeah, there's no sunset.
And now we're saying July 1st? Are you kidding me?
He can keep this going for the rest of his term.
We got a couple of things in Colorado that work pretty well when it comes to this virus, called fresh air and sunshine. We're one of the healthiest states. Often we're listed as the healthiest and most active state in the country. We now understand 3 months into this crisis that the vast majority of people who are at risk from this disease are already very sick or are really up there in years now. Yep. Did you know that 30% of the deaths in this country, the last time I checked, were in one state, New York? Yep. That 80% of the deaths in this country were among 12 states, mostly on both coasts. And that Colorado, the first time I ran these numbers, had only 1% of the deaths. We're up to about 1.3% of the deaths right now. But you remember what they told us to get us to stay in our houses for a while? They said, oh my God, this virus, 20 to 30 times the death rate of the flu.
Yes.
And now they're down to maybe twice the death rate of the flu. With the vast majority of the people who are sick or ill are people who, by the way, sheltered inside. Many of them in nursing homes.
Yeah.
And, 80 years and above, they say 65 and above, but even 60, 65-year-old numbers are pretty low unless you already have a pretty serious health condition going in. So this is a political battle that we're in now. This is no longer a health battle. This is about victory on November 4th of 2020. Or is it the 3rd? When's the election? All right. I said it all day on my radio. How many people listen to 710 KNUS ever all the way down here? All right, a few of you. I do a Saturday morning show there, and I got the election day all wrong, all day Saturday. So I promised I'd get it right this time, and I didn't. But really, this is what it's about. And I think that this is what the escalating violence in our communities is about. This is the radical left, Antifa, the communists, and the maniacs who are in control of the Democrat Party right now. They cannot beat Donald J. Trump any other way. So they're going to try and make sure the economy doesn't come back, keep the social unrest going for a long, long time. So it makes the legal battle that we're launching into extremely important. We've already filed one lawsuit on behalf of CNC Cafe. That was a state lawsuit. The idea was to get in front of a judge quickly and get a declaration or an injunction, a declaration that these laws, maybe not when Polis first pulled the trigger. Oh, can you say pull the trigger? Maybe not when he first exercised his emergency powers, but when he continued to extend them, and now extend them again, and now today, you guys have just informed me, extend them yet again. That it's too far, it's too much, it's not based in science, and the idea of filing in state court was to get that very quickly. And of course, the people at Tri-County Health and the lawyers who represent the Colorado Department of Health immediately immediately accepted. See, I do a 3-hour show. You get me started again. Immediately accepted service of process of our complaint. The governor has not. So we still have to work to get him served before we can get what we expect to be our quick hearing. Oh yeah, my alarm's going off now. So let me just tell you this. Thank God for Colorado Freedom Force. They really stepped up. And other people did as well. The individual restaurant owners were able to raise money individually as well. So to my knowledge, none of the 3 people that were filing lawsuits on behalf of had to spend a single penny of their own because people have stepped up to help them. So the last 30 seconds I'll take just to tell you what we're working on now and why we need more numbers, we need more money, we need more everything. Mostly we need, like Craig said, we need people. As a lawyer, I can't advise you to break the law, but as a patriot, as the chairman of the largest Tea Party group in Colorado, as your incoming Colorado Republican National Committee man, I can tell you as a citizen that we do have to step up and exercise our freedom. So what we're working on this week is a federal lawsuit on behalf of at least these 3 restaurants, maybe more, where instead of just asking for a judge to say enough is enough, it's time to open Colorado, we're asking for money damages and a federal rule that enough is enough. But this stuff has to stop all around the country. Sorry that I went on too long, and thank you guys very much for being here. I brought business cards. They have my personal cell phone number and my email. And so it's a great way to reach me, business hours or not, a health department or a sheriff knocks on your door. Would anybody like me to walk around and hand these out? Yes. Hi, Vicki. So I guess my job is to introduce Representative Dave Williams. You're not next.
More money for legal fees or no?
No, I'm working for free now.
On behalf of Colorado Freedom Force and for our lovely business owners here, we'd like to present another $3,500.